All right, time to go into the newsroom. It is time to give me the headlines presented by Hyundai. 3 games that are in our
my sound?
front page of the paper. Yeah, breaking news, breaking news.
Yeah.
Breaking news in Washington. It actually was in Charlotte, but they beat the Panthers 27-21 in the Cam game. It was back in Carolina versus Ron Rivera, his old coach there, and Washington won. What's your headline for the game?
Superman returns, but Rivera revenges.
Ooh, okay.
He's the kryptonite.
That does sound like a comic. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that was actually a fun game to watch yesterday.
You would
really
not have signed up to maybe watch that, although maybe you would have signed up to watch that game, just seeing Cam go back to Carolina and face Ron Rivera.
I think the storylines are pretty good.
The two teams aren't always that interesting,
no,
right?
Exactly.
Kind of could be a defensive slog, but there were so many interesting plays in this one. And Taylor Heinicke versus Cam Newton. The story going into the game was all about Cam Newton,
right?
But then Taylor Heinicke, even though Cam didn't play bad, I mean, he played okay and had that long-running touchdown.
Good enough for them to win the game.
Taylor Heinicke outshone Cam Newton in Charlotte.
Yeah, is that what you say? Outshone or outshine, or what are you going to say there?
I think if I'm from England, for our British listeners, maybe it's outshone.
Okay, all right, good.
He was outshone. Cam was outshone by Taylor Heinicke, who outshined him.
Oh, okay. Is that? We need
Kristen,
to do that.
Edit that together in a way that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm throwing the challenge flag. I don't think it's outshone, but I don't know. Don't ask me.
I think there are times where
you might be.
If not, we're inventing it today.
You said it. Cam played, well.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. Made some great throws. I thought, the first drive of the game was very well thought out. Had some creative plays that really fit them and their team. I mean, the touchdown pass he had a DJ Moore. They fake the quarterback draw, and as he's running up the line of scrimmage, he hits him with a little post route. That was really cool.
Yeah.
They got to continue to do stuff like that. Use Cam's strengths, against the other team a little bit. So that was cool. Their offense played good enough to win the game. I think to me, is the shock of the game is kind of what you said. Heinicke magic, Washington offense kind of consistently moving the ball on Carolina all game long. Carolina, it was like the 3 touchdown drives were literally the only time they moved the ball the whole game. I felt like everything else was like 3 and out or 6 and out or 5 and out, whatever else. So it was really just those 3 touchdown drives. But I think when I look at Washington, I did not think they would run the ball the way they did. Of course, we saw Terry McLaurin and how special he is once again against some good cover corners out there in Carolina. And then, Heinicke making just a few plays here and there, and like in big moments, like the 4th down and 3 that gave them the go-ahead field goal, scrambling to his left, making somebody miss, waiting to the last possible second, completion, boom. It's just a good mix. And Washington's playing good football right now. They're a pain in the butt, as you could see.
190 yards rushing, so that did open up things for Taylor Heinicke. Our good friend Josh Norris, you remember him over at Roto World, moved on now. He was on Twitter just singing the praises of Scott Turner and the offensive game plan for them and the execution on 3rd down. They were 6 of 13 on 3rd down. They were 2 for 2 on 4th down, including that was one of the coolest plays.
It was one of the coolest plays of Sunday.
4th and 3, Heinicke to Bates. It did set up the game-winning field goal for Heinicke there. So it was just great scrambling by Taylor Heinicke, who finished this week leading the NFL with air yards per pass.
Whoa.
So 12.5 times, or 12.5
yards per pass. Yeah,
down
it looked
the
like
field.
that. It looked like that yesterday. I mean, again, that's where McLaurin came into play big time yesterday. And Carolina, of course, has like corners where they just go, we know you got Terry McLaurin, but we don't care. Our corners are good. We're going to play you man-to-man. And they didn't let him off the hook that way. That's where they're special. And McLaurin is special, as we've talked about a few times on this podcast. But, Heinicke has definitely stepped up his game, I feel like, the last few weeks to where I know he always made a few magical plays, but there was always a few plays where I went, if he threw a better throw there, that should have been a bigger play or maybe a touchdown, or it should have been a 1st down. There was some of that, I felt like, in the Packers and even in the Denver game where they lost, some close football games. Last few weeks, I just feel like nothing's being left on the field. I didn't watch the film last week of Tampa versus Tampa and Tampa's defense where I went, oh man, he missed a handful of plays. He should have had, more points, more yards. He's playing good football. Washington's got a little mojo going.
They do.
Washington's defense got some talent. Their offensive line's good. They can run the ball, and if he can continue to throw the ball the way he is, they're going to be a pain in the butt down the stretch.
They're 4-6.
Yeah.
A half game behind Philadelphia. And Dallas at 7-3. We've seen some chinks in the armor for the Cowboys here recently. So if they continue to have struggles, who knows?
Doubt.
Maybe that division's not over.
Maybe not.
Yeah,
the Eagles of Washington are certainly going to give us something to talk about there. That's the big thing. And I think with Dallas, who still has the Eagles, right, one more time on their schedule, and they got Washington on their schedule twice, they're not like cupcake wins now, for sure. They're not. These two teams can certainly beat them if the Cowboys mess up, make a bad play, whatever.
There's no cupcake win for the Baltimore Ravens.
No.
Every game for them comes down to the final seconds, it seems like. It seems like they could have lost every game, but they are one of the top teams in the NFL. They beat the Bears 16-13, even without Lamar Jackson. Your headline for this one.
Yeah, it's go do your thing. And people might go, what do you mean?
I was about to say that. What do you
don't
mean?
you go do your thing, because you like to choke on energy drinks, all right? So,
no, I don't like to. It just happens to me.
Go do your thing is the text message Lamar Jackson sent to Tyler Huntley on the way to the bus before the football game. Yeah, no Lamar Jackson. Go do your thing. And that's what the Ravens, you're right. They're the ultimate cardiac kids. Just find a way to ugly make plays, get it done. He played well, though. He made a number of good throws for the game, didn't make any crucial mistakes. And, of course, being the big play at the end of the football game where, Chicago busted the coverage. He had pressure. He runs out to the right and finds Sammy Watkins for the big play that got them down in scoring position to win the game. Ultimately, that was the play of the day. So good job by Tyler Huntley.
Yep.
Coming in a situation that wasn't easy on the road against a good Bears defense.
I wasn't that familiar with Tyler Huntley before this game. Out of Utah, was a 3-year starter for them, undrafted in 2020. They didn't ask him to do a whole bunch. In fact, that completion to Watkins was the first time he threw the ball more than 20 yards down the field all game. So they did just enough. And the story really would have been the Bears defense probably if they didn't come down and score the Ravens there at the end, because Robert Quinn had a big game, 3.5 sacks in a losing effort. But get this crazy stat.
Yeah, let me hear it.
The Chicago Bears now have 8 straight losses following a bye. So coming off their bye, they have now lost 8 times in a row. Their last win was Week 9 in 2013 at Green Bay. So that is a little bit of an indictment on the coaching staff there. And that dates back even pre-Matt Nagy. But still, that's not a great trend.
No, it's definitely not a great trend. There's no doubt about it. I think it speaks to what you're talking about a little. The fact that, they bring nothing new to the table on a bye week.
They had the injury to Justin Fields in this game.
Sure, that hurt. And, hey, it was great that they got, a guy like Andy Dalton to come off the bench, and he throws a little screen pass to Mooney, who breaks a long touchdown.
Yeah.
And, the all-out blitz, hey, the ability to recognize it, know where to go with the football. That was a big moment in the football game too, certainly. So they did some good things there. But yes, I think your point is something that I try to make a lot. I don't understand their offense. They don't give their team a whole lot of advantages, and to me, it is the worst offense in football. It really is. So
worse than the Lions.
No, it's not.
Oh, so okay. So we get to see that battle
on
Thanksgiving.
I give it a better advantage than that, I will say. I'll give them a little bit of an advantage on the Lions. Maybe not even schematically, but at least they have enough players to make it go. I don't know if I actually schematically – you're right. It's schematically the worst offense in football. I'm sorry. I stand corrected. All right, and here's another one that I want to get to here, because this is to me, it was one of the sneaky big parts of the football game here, and I want to make sure I get this right here. So I'm trying to go through this just make sure, because again, I've watched every football game in the world, and I just want to make sure. Hold on, so I got this right. Okay, here we go. I got it right. I was right. It's 7-6 Bears.
Yeah.
All right. It's Tyler Huntley at quarterback.
Yep.
They have not been able to do much on the offensive side of the ball. Okay? The Bears got the ball at midfield. It's 4th and 1. We know they went for it. because that's all anybody does anymore is go for it.
Yeah.
Except for teams like the Patriots or some of the other teams in football that go, wait, field position is actually a real thing. Let's do it. Like, okay, 4th and 1, they go for it. They don't get it. Now, people are going to go, well, wait, Baltimore didn't do anything after that drive. No, they didn't. You're right. They didn't. But see, what had happened is it flipped the field position, and it changed the game. So you're up 7-6. Okay, 4th and 1, they don't get it. Baltimore doesn't do jack diddly shit with it. He throws an interception, in fact, Tyler Huntley. But, they got a first down, and now the interception happened at the 22-yard line.
Okay.
So now Chicago still got the ball backed up, right? They do nothing. They punt the ball back, okay? And Baltimore's got the ball in great field position. They're at the 45-yard line. They're right at midfield. Well, they get 2 first downs or 1 first down, and they're in field goal position for Justin Tucker. Now you're losing the game. Like, to me, again, that was another moment of the game where I know they're looking at me going, you're like, man, you were some Matt Nagy hater.
No.
But
no,
to me,
I'm
evaluate
okay
the game
that.
for what it is. You're up 7-6.
Yeah.
Punt the ball down there and make Baltimore be in their own area. They haven't done anything.
I think there's even more to that because I feel like, is this the part of the game? Did they call timeout before they went for a 4th down there?
Let me make sure
They sent the punt team out there.
Oh,
there was a chorus of boos.
Exactly right.
Throughout the stadium.
And then he changed it. That's exactly what happened.
Yes.
Way to go. Way to go. Yes,
right.
that's exactly what happened.
That's why I was giving you that look.
Yes. Okay. So, yes, double whammy there. But why? See, again, that's where, to me, some teams have the ability to see the big picture of the football game. And,
and he did until the fans hated it.
He did, right? He let that affect him. I don't know what happened there. I don't. It's one I want to go back and watch it all again so I can get a better feel for what. But that to me was a huge moment in the game. And I know you're going to go, well, it didn't directly score right there, but to me, yes, it set up the field position for Baltimore to be in the position to then get the field goal 2 drives later. It was a defensive struggle type game. You got a guy who has not started a regular season game in the NFL, right? So why, when you're up by 1, give him a chance and give their offense a chance to get 1 first down or 1 lucky play, and now they're winning the football game? That, to me, made no sense. And so when you don't have good schematics and then you don't manage the game the right way, that is what's frustrating to me about the Bears.
Ravens pull it out. Feels like they could have lost plenty of games this season, but they are 7-3 and atop the AFC North right now.
It's the weirdest 7-3 team I've ever seen.
They're 1 game ahead of the Cincinnati Bengals, who are back. They beat the Raiders emphatically, 32-13. Your headline for this one is
Bengals are in the mix.
There we go.
Booyah! Or I also thought of Not Ordinary Joes.
I feel like we've done that one.
I think I've done it like 4 times.
Every time we have the Bengals in this section, it's like, the Joes. Joe Cool or No Ordinary
Joe Mixon.
Joe. Yeah. Joe Mixon's
right.
7th straight game with a touchdown for Joe Mixon, which they didn't really throw the ball all that much or that well. It wasn't like they needed to because the first 7 possessions for Las Vegas, Derek Carr had just 80 yards. And so for the second week in a row, that Raiders offense looks stumped.
I think we're officially seeing the Gruden effect or the no Gruden effect. Again, Gruden's an offensive genius. Say what you want about him, whatever. Personally, I understand that. But, his ideas, his energy he can bring to that side of the football. And to me, the biggest thing that they're missing, Ahmed, is, where Gruden was special is, we know the meat and potatoes, knows how to execute and do all the little things. But where he made their offense and the meat potatoes even better is his ability to, every week, and I experienced this, was find 4 or 5 plays that were screw you plays. Like, if we get them in this formation, they're going to do this, and I've drawn this play up, and it's going to screw them over. And that's where I feel like we're missing something, from the Chiefs the last few weeks. You don't see any game plan shots or ability to stretch the field. They had the 1 drive in the 4th quarter, right? It was 3 plays, 75-yard drive. Other than that, I mean, they couldn't find a way to muster offense, stay on the field, get a big play, do anything.
Right.
They really couldn't. And what I do want to see with the Bengals, because it was awesome to see as far as, Joe Mixon, and then, of course, Burrow just makes his handful of plays where you just go, ooh, wow, that's good. I wish they would find some ways to get some more big plays in the pass game. They're too talented to throw the ball 30 times and only get 148 yards.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they're too talented. They got to find more ways to get shots and be aggressive down the field too. But I want to see what the Bengals did on defense too. That's another thing. The Bengals, of course, coming off a bye week, I felt like they self-scouted themselves too. One of my issues with them going into the bye week a little bit was they become a little bit like predictable, and teams are starting to find ways to get big plays on them every week. Like we saw the Browns, big plays against them.
Right.
We saw the Jets dice them up with short passes. A little too predictable in their coverages. I felt like they changed it up a little bit yesterday, but that was a big win for them and a dominant win in a lot of ways.
Yeah, big win. Joe Mixon going off for them. John Isaac, back to the Raiders, 55, says, despite what the players say, it does appear the loss of Gruden and the Ruggs issue have taken their toll on the
100%.
Raiders. He goes, even Derek Carr almost cursed yesterday.
Yeah.
And if that's happening, I mean, that's almost rock bottom. That's almost rock bottom.
That's rock bottom. Yeah,
for the
Derek Carr,
Raiders.
he does not like to curse. But yeah, Gruden, again.
And Ruggs, the Ruggs issue.
The
and
Ruggs,
stretching
those
the
are
field.
two huge issues. Distractions, personal blows to your gut as if you're a player on the team. Yeah, it bothers you. And I think you can also, you can't take away or you can't hide the effect Ruggs had on games even when he wasn't catching footballs. There's a real thing there. It's like Tyreek Hill. It's just
can't leave him wide open.
You can't leave him wide open. You can't leave him one-on-one. He changes the structure of the coverage a lot of the times just because of him, even though we haven't maybe thrown him the ball in 5 series. And then the energy and the creativity of Gruden just cannot be replicated. Yeah. It cannot. Gruden brings an energy to the facility every day that's special. Whether you like him or not, the energy was there. So I do think they're missing that for sure.
And that was Give Me the Headlines presented by Hyundai.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.